Here at Fort Polk, we have a place called the Army Community Service, which has all kinds of programs in there, including today's subject, Exceptional Family Member Program. And we're going to talk about all about it. And this is the Fort Polk Podcast. I'm Jeff England. Here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're listening to this, since you can download it and listen to it at your leisure. I'm Jeff England, and this is the Fort Polk Podcast. I'm here today with the EFMP program managers and members and workers and everybody from ACS, and this is going to be Tricia Kearns, the MA MFT, BCCS. You got all kinds of letters behind your name. Yeah. And her co-worker, Chris Barrett. Hi, how are you guys doing?
Great.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of magic that goes behind the scenes. You know, you don't have to, you can relax, you know. It's a little easy. So, we've got all kinds of questions and answers and things going on. EFMP, Exceptional Family Member Program. What exactly is that, and who is it geared towards?
Yeah, absolutely. EFMP is a program designed for service members that have family members with special needs including any medical, behavioral health, mental health, developmental disabilities, anything that requires a specialty provider would be considered EFMP, to include special education for children birth to 3 is it's considered an individualized family service plan, and then 3 and up, it's an IEP, an individualized education plan for special education.
Man, I wish I had something like that, because you know, I've struggled all my life with ADHD, yeah. And you know, it's I can be talking about one thing. Ooh, a bird. Ooh, something shiny. It's like, yeah, it's just it affects my memory. It affects my attention span. I learn differently. I've taken medicine for it, and the funny thing is what affects me to calm me down affects others without ADD and actually riles them up. So it's when people say that I'm different, they are not kidding.
No, Chris and I still speak for myself, but that's definitely a thing for us as well. It makes it fun in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Absolutely. And it really makes it easy for us to work with our families and understand what they're going through, especially the kiddos that come in. I love our events and doing all that kind of stuff, because it gives us that opportunity to help parents navigate working with the kiddos, because we understand it.
Yeah, you do. You have a bunch of events over there. You just recently had the Boo Bash for Halloween, didn't you? That yes. Seemed like a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh, I get so energized and pumped, and love engaging with all the games, and dressing up in costumes is my thing, and Halloween is my holiday.
Oh so, yeah, I love it. I love Halloween.
I'm sure people saw me looking like a spaz, running around myself.
So the EFMP, the Exceptional Family Member Program, now that assists military families and that require ongoing specialties or specialty yes. care.
Yes.
So what kind of care, ongoing specialty care, do you guys offer?
So it's typically seen as chronic, so anything exceeding 6 months, and it can literally be anything. We have lots of families with autism, so ongoing what's called ABA therapy, applied behavioral analysis. It's specified for children with autism. Anything, do you want to give your ology?
Yeah, a lot of times service members, they can be in the military for years and years and not really understand what EFMP is. So I kind of break it down in this manner. If you are seeing somebody who is providing a therapy or ends in ology, think EFMP. And that's the easiest way to describe it.
An ology. I'm seeing a biology.
You're seeing a biology.
Ichthyology. I could put ology at the end of anything.
You're seeing a provider.
Lunchology.
That ends in ology, such as neurology, ophthalmology, cardiology, any of those ologist type doctors.
Gotcha.
Then you need to come see us.
Gotcha.
And what Chris was saying about being in the military for a long time and maybe not realizing what EFMP is or that you need it, we went through that also at a previous installation. My oldest daughter was enrolled for medical reasons, and I had no idea that the ACS side of EFMP even existed until I started working in it. And my husband's been in for 20 years, so it's happens to.
Yeah, ACS offers a lot of different programs over there, and people just, they either don't know about it or they have the misconception. It's like, oh, I don't want to go there. It's punishment, and it's like, no, this is here to help you. It's a service.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's a community service for the Army.
It's free.
Maybe we should call it something like Army Community Service. Hey, we can shorten it to ACS.
How about that?
You guys, now there's what kind of services typically includes for when you're navigating the EFMP, what kind of services are typically included? Like, can we get like special housing or things like that?
Yeah, so there's supposed to be ADA housing at every installation, and we can assist with ADA modifications to homes, and that's specific to whatever medical need is needed. It's not necessarily, we can't help with placement, especially places that have wait lists. We can't bump you up because of EFMP needs, but what we can do is make sure that the house that you get meets your family's needs. So if there's specialty filters that's needed for respiratory concerns or allergies, asthma, or carpets versus non-carpets, one-story home versus multiple if they have mobility concerns, wheelchair accessibility, that kind of stuff we can assist with in making sure that housing's tracking that so that can be implemented for their needs.
What about services that, like a medical service that BJAC doesn't offer?
Right.
If we can't get any service at BJAC, what can you do about that?
So a lot of our families, at least here, have referrals. There's a lot of our families that have needs. The provider isn't actually at BJAC, so we refer them out, or not necessarily we as in Chris and I, but the PCM or the provider at BJAC would refer them to a service outside of the gate, anywhere ranging from Houston to Shreveport to Lafayette to just kind of depends on what they need and where it's available at.
I'm looking for a service provider that can only help me in Hawaii. Yes, and it takes months of a couple months of treatment. Yeah, in Hawaii.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that would be nice.
Hawaii.
Beach therapy.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't help you with that. But if you find that,
let
me know the provider.
Right.
We'll have an outing.
Yeah.
Now, in today's economy, with things as expensive as they are, everyone needs to work just to survive. Right. But if we have children, or even a child with some extra needs that need to be doing, what can we do while we're working? I mean, we have to find them care. Well,
right.
But you say EFMP is there for them for that too, huh?
Yes, we can help with the process to apply for CYS care. We can refer them to AER, Army Emergency Relief, if there's concerns with funding for that. We're really working close in hand with CYS providers and the management over there to make sure that our families can be taken care of, giving them some additional options.
One of the things we work with really closely is prime travel with managed care. So if you are having to do travel for appointments that you're getting referrals to that's 100 miles plus one way, so the Lafayettes, the Shreveports, we can work with you to make sure that you're getting that reimbursement. There are different set standards for that.
Yeah, gas is a little expensive right now.
It is, but there's also reimbursements for if you're having to stay overnight and you need hotel, or if you need meal reimbursements. And it can actually backdate. So for our families that we didn't know were doing that, and then they come to us later, we work with managed care to make sure that, I think it's up to a year, they can get paid back for all that travel, as long as we can make sure it's documented in the appropriate manner.
Nice.
So just to make sure some of those things done. What we can't do is childcare isn't necessarily going to be paid for you, and EFMP does not provide that childcare. So we have had people come to us and demand maybe a compassionate to be moved for some things we can't do. EFMP does not provide your childcare. We will help try and find your resources for it, but we do not provide everything for things.
But
so there are limits.
But if they demand it, then that changes everything, right? I mean, it's like, I'd like to request. Well, I'm sorry, we can't do that. Well, then I demand it. Oh, well, I'm sorry. It's like, oh, no, you demand. It's like strenuously object. No.
Fortunately for us, most of our families don't do that. I think we work well enough hand in hand with them that our families understand that we go above and beyond as well as we can to take care of anything we can and support them at this installation as best we can, because we're a very big team with school support services, CYS, providers, medical side, all of that.
Oh, that's cool. And the kids that are in school that like ADD and something that I like to downplay it a little bit because I've got it and it affects, but I've learned to live with it and cope with it and use it to my advantage sometimes, because what I've noticed about ADD, ADHD is creativity is very, very strong with them. But the distractions and the concentration problems did have me struggling in school. You were mentioning an IEP earlier. If I only had one of those, what is an IEP?
An IEP is an individualized education plan, and what that is, it's a legal document that's created with the school and any specialty providers that the kiddo needs, and with the parent to plan appropriately what the child needs in the school to make sure that they're learning and staying on track. With an IEP, it's typically modifications that's actually needed that shifts the learning curriculum that the child is needing. So ADHD specifically might not actually qualify for an IEP. It's not kind of clear cut that way. If they need or accommodations, like specific chairs or ability to fidget, specific placement in the classroom, that kind of stuff, but they're still learning the same curriculum, then that would be technically a 504 plan, and we can assist with that as well. An IEP would be usually it's more like learning disabilities where they have specific concerns and areas that they can't excel with the curriculum that's for everybody in the class. So what they're actually getting is modified. So it's going to be maybe something very different, or they're taken out of the general classroom and put somewhere else to learn, say, math or reading or writing, or their paperwork specifically is different than what everybody else gets. And that would be an IEP to keep the kiddo at grade level and making sure that they can be successful in the classroom.
Oh, that's cool. And then a 504 would offer things like extra time to take a test.
Yes.
And maybe some extended periods to turn in your homework or okay.
Yeah,
okay,
breaks,
I'm tracking now. I hope I hope some people that are listening are tracking a little bit better too. Yeah. I'm really hoping that that people get something out of listening to me talk all day. At least for a little while.
What we also do with IEPs and stuff, we can provide trainings for families, because a lot of times we get a lot of young families, and kindergarten, first, second grade, a lot of these things are kind of caught in the classroom and realizing that kiddos are struggling in certain areas, and they've got lots of questions. So there's quite a few different platforms that offer training, and we can give those information to the families. We can sit down at EFMP at ACS and walk them through what an IEP is, what that process looks like, how to advocate for their kids, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we actually, at one of the school book bag giveaways, we created kind of a cheat sheet slideshow of the differences between IEPs, 504s, how to ask questions. And we are willing to go to IEP meetings with families and make sure that they feel comfortable advocating for themselves and that their kiddos are getting everything that they need. And we 100% will help with any of that with the school. And we work really closely with the special education department.
Yeah.
Now, what happens if somebody suspects that that their child might have something? Are you guys here to help at least navigate people for diagnosis kind of stuff? I mean, you can tell them where to go at BJAC or help them out or anything like that.
Yeah, it's usually sometimes the school will mention something to the families, and we'll get families that come in are concerned that saying, hey, my kid's teacher is concerned about X, Y, and Z. And we can tell them that the first step is typically going back to the primary care provider for the kiddo and requesting a referral for an assessment, just depending on what concern it is, if it's an ADHD or autism or a learning deficit. The school itself typically does some sort of assessment as well, but that's usually after a diagnosis has been made, if I'm remembering correctly.
Something like that. Yeah, they can't see you nod.
Yeah.
Chris is over here nodding. It's like,
Yes.
I'm gonna start putting cameras on everyone. Now, there is a lot of things that you guys do, but there's also things that you don't do. And you mentioned this earlier with the people demanding that this and that and asking or requesting. What are some of the things that you do versus the things that you don't do or can't do?
Yeah.
So we do help with housing accommodations. We don't do the priority housing. We can help with directing you for if you need guardianship or you're working on if you have a child who is aged out, but you need help doing what we call incapacitation packets, but we don't do the legal part of those. So we will assist you with getting into contact with SJA and getting the lawyers for that kind of stuff. So a lot of things legal wise, we will point you in the right directions, but we'll start you with the process.
We assist with compassionate reassignments when the services cannot be provided here, but we don't have a say in where you're going. That's usually HRC. We can assist with
Special education?
Yes, we assist with special education, and we can advocate. We can't implement the plan that's typically the school. We can give them enough information. We don't do family care plans. That's a command level task, I guess. We can assist with the stuff that goes with that. It's typically the medical documents that they need. We can refer them to where they can get that kind of stuff. But we don't do anything with anything that's related to
You can
their
help without
service.
processing, right? I mean,
Yes.
Having an EFMP takes a little bit more to out process because
yeah.
you got to make sure that the next place you're going can handle your needs and all that stuff. So what kind of help do you offer with out processing?
That's actually a big part of my job as the navigator. I will make contact with every single person who is out processing this installation that indicates their EFMP, and I will make you a phone call or sit down and find out every type of service that you're interested in. If you need CYS care, a school liaison, if you are going to need services outside the military treatment facility, I will then contact my counterpart at the next duty station you're headed to make sure that they get in contact with you. I have even asked service members, hey, if you do not hear for the next installation, feel free to call me back. I will hound them until somebody gets in contact with you to at least welcome you. And
That's always helpful, It's like, please do something for me.
Exactly. I also kind of go over, especially if it's your first PCS, what are the things you need to do before you leave?
Well, wouldn't coming here be your first PCS and leaving here would be your second PCS, right?
No, not if you're coming from AIT. It's not.
It's a PCS to this station.
It's not always the same because a lot of them haven't PCS fully as a family.
I like arguing the little details.
So we have a lot of service members who this is the first time that they're EFMP. They got enrolled here or they got married here. So maybe the service member has moved for the first time, but this could be their very first PCS as a family.
You got me on a technicality.
So it would very well be their first time PCSing with a family or with children. And so they don't understand some of the things that need to happen, such as, especially in an area like this where you've seen outside providers, it's very important that you get all of your medical records from your outside providers put into the military treatment facility. You need to make sure you're getting 90 days worth of your medication because you're traveling. You need to make sure if you have an IEP that you get a copy of it for your own records and have it in hand, and don't let the movers move it so that it's packed up somewhere for however long. You want it in hand. And we even do every year around PCS season, we do a training on how to move as an EFMP family and how to create an emergency binder of all your information so you have one together and you just can move with it.
That sounds very helpful. Very helpful. I mean, I could have used some help back then. I always had to do everything on my own. But we're concentrating a lot on the family and the parents, the children, and all that stuff. But there's another person or another group of people that actually this will help out, and that would be the leadership. Don't you guys do anything for leadership? I mean, everyone has a commander. Everyone. What do you guys do for leadership? Anything?
Yes, we started briefing here about a month or two, probably 2 months ago now, and really trying to get information that's going to help leadership and leadership roles, how to help their soldiers under them that are going to be navigating EFMP maybe for the first time, or at least giving them appropriate information of what EFMP is, what their role is as a commander, because there's certain things that they're going to be required to do as well. Some of those DA forms that their service member needs for specific things for EFMP, the responsibility is on the commander for that. So we kind of walk through what those look like. If they've got questions, they can come and ask us. We can answer them.
Now, if we sign up for EFMP, does it expire?
Yes. It's actually required to update it every 3 years.
For 3 years.
Every 3 years.
Now, that would be something the leadership could
Yes.
remind us. It's like, hey. It's expiring.
Yes.
Just like my computer over there says, oh, your cyber awareness is going to expire in 300 days. It's like, that's next year. Come on.
Yes. So they're supposed to be able to pull what's called a UIC report. So it's a report that's supposed to be any soldier that's underneath or within their footprint. And there's an expiration date for EFMP. They can't see their medical stuff, but they can see a date in there. That's supposed to assist with commands being able to help their soldiers stay on track, as well as that specific expiration being sent to soldiers' emails 6 months prior to their expirations. Now, there's been a whole lot of changes, EFMP, just kind of across the gamut. So there's been some difficulty with that specific process, but we're here. Tammy at the hospital, she's available. If there's any questions about expiration dates, if they're working on it, they're welcome to call us and we can pull those dates if they're unable to see it.
Oh, excellent. And now, what I'd like is anybody listening to this podcast, go to the commander, or if you're a leader or anything, give EFMP a call over at ACS and learn about the programs and the changes that affects soldiers, and let them know that you heard it on here. At least I'd know somebody's listening.
Yeah.
Now you also mentioned that you guys have a lot of events coming up. ACS does a lot of events, and just like MWR, you guys do fall under MWR. I guess it would be the W part of it. And you had the Boo Bash. And what are some of the other events that you guys have throughout the year?
We do at least usually 4 big events throughout the year tied to the big holidays. So Christmas will be coming up. We don't have everything outlined, and I don't want to give any of our secrets away for Christmas, but it's always a big event that we have for our families.
Does it include Santa?
I'm not telling you.
It's
who
Santa.
Our special guest
I was just
is going to be.
It's Santa, isn't it?
Maybe,
it's
maybe
Santa.
not.
Santa. I know him. I know Santa.
You know Santa?
I do. I know him.
Everybody thinks they know Santa.
I know him.
Everybody thinks they know
him.
Santa.
I know Santa.
Last year, Santa came and he had a little trouble with his sleigh last year. So instead of his normal reindeers, he had a motorcycle escort of elves last year that brought him to ACS for our EFMP. And he came with the Grinch and some of his elves.
I know the Grinch, too.
And his motorcycle escorts. And it was a lot of fun.
One year he showed up in a hot rod.
Did he?
Yes, it was like
I wasn't
a tea
there
bucket.
for that.
I think it was. It was really cool. Now, every month something's going on. October was Domestic Violence Awareness Month, in addition to other months. But ADD ADHD is also Awareness Month in October, isn't it?
Yes, it is, along with Down syndrome, dyslexia and learning disabilities.
Now, the autism, I know some people that have children with autism, and I see, like, one of my friends actually has a tattoo of a puzzle.
Yes.
Like a 4-piece puzzle or something like that. I guess that's the
symbol.
The symbol or the emblem for autism awareness.
It is.
Is there an Autism Awareness Month?
There is. It's actually in April.
April.
So this post is really big for October and April are a lot of
Wow. That's great. And let's see. What about other learning disabilities that, like dyslexia? My brother has dyslexia, and he's one of the smartest people I know, and he can do anything. But when it comes to reading, it's a little slower. Unlike me, who reads 3 paragraphs and then has to read it over because I took 3 days to read those 3 paragraphs and I forgot what I read. My mind wanders.
Yeah, that's the ADHD. It's great.
It does that.
Yeah.
But so you guys have programs for everything, don't you? Almost everything.
We
I like to say
try.
everything.
So in October, it was our actual awareness campaign is what we did. So we picked Fridays and certain Thursdays, and it was wear shirts of different colors. So
Orange.
we had orange for ADD and ADHD. We had silver for dyslexia and other learning disabilities, blue and yellow for Down syndrome awareness. We had purple for domestic violence awareness. We had teal or blue for bully prevention awareness. We had pink for breast cancer awareness. And am I missing a color?
Yellow? Oh, yeah. No, you said that one.
Nope, that's 6.
Yeah, I said silver.
Yep.
Right? Yep. So I think that was the
Orange,
ones we
blue,
did for that.
silver, purple, blue and yellow,
Yep.
and pink.
Yep.
Look at those.
So we did those.
Not that I'm taking notes or anything.
Yeah, last year for April, we did our first because actually I had some families reach out last year about Autism Month and that they couldn't find any walks in the local areas. And I kept looking and wasn't finding any. And I realized, that's a thing. You're right, we don't. So last minute, I reached out and got support from MWR and CYS, and we hosted our first annual superhero walk for autism.
Like a Volksmarch?
Kind of. Well, I don't really know what a Volksmarch is.
Oh, you need to go to Germany.
Never. I haven't been since I was a kid.
It's a walk.
Got you. We did it on our field, and we started it off with Chalk the Walk. So kids and families could come and draw whatever they wanted to all over on our field. They loved it. We had lots of artwork.
Just don't invite my stepson to draw whatever he wants. He'll yeah.
Well, it was wonderful. We had actually people in the local communities that came as well. And then afterwards, we all did a walk around Honor Field dressed in superhero costumes. So it was great for it being the first walk for autism.
Nice.
And families really seem to appreciate it and have requested that something like that continue.
So you actually take like suggestions and stuff.
Absolutely. And we would love for people who hear this, if any of our families have suggestions for anything that they would like to see supported, whether it's trainings, events, activities, more information on anything that, if it's a diagnosis or something that they want to learn more about, we're open to it. And we will, if we don't have it, we will research it. We will find a provider that can do the training if we are not qualified to do it. Because we will never step outside of our strengths. We will find someone to do it.
Always surround yourself with smart, strong people, and you will never fail. Yeah. Or if you do fail, it's just a learning experience. That's what I do. Everyone's like, wow, you're so great. No, I surround myself with people that make me look great. But if you guys have if anybody has an idea or suggestion or anything, or even questions, they can call you, Tricia, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I call you
email.
Tricia.
Yes.
It'd be weird to call you Barbara.
Yes, it would.
It would. So I call you
I might
Tricia.
not answer.
No, so we can call you. Your office number is 531-2840, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Yeah, you had to think
I
about
had to
that
think
one.
about that. I was going to say Chris's number.
People ask me, what's your phone number? I don't know. I never call me. I'm never home. And you're also on Global, of course.
Absolutely.
And Chris, we can call you at your office number is 531 something 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 something.
Yeah,
7456.
You can call me at that number for a little bit.
Just for a little bit. Are you leaving us?
Unfortunately,
Are you doing your first PCS move?
I'm doing my first PCS move as an EFMP family, actually.
Ooh, look at that.
Because I am one of those families whose spouse was in for 18 years and had no idea until I started working this job that I should have been enrolled.
That is crazy.
So I use that experience to teach my families how to enroll.
So where are you going?
We are going to Fort Jackson,
Fort Jackson,
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Every time, it's like they're all in South Carolina or one of the Carolinas.
Yes.
It's like Fort Jackson, Fort.
I don't know which ones are there.
I don't either.
I have so many. I'm just listening.
Recently.
I don't know where they're at.
There's one in Fayetteville also.
Okay.
Okay.
Bragg, right?
Yes.
Yes, I got that one.
Okay. Anyway,
That's North Carolina.
it's
He said
South Carolina.
It's close.
They're all one to me. It's like there's one in Georgia too. Fort
Those ones I know. Stewart, Gordon, and Benning, but that's just because
Fort Benning, and then there's an airfield over there too. Hunter
yeah.
Airfield. That's the one I wanted to be at over there in Savannah.
Yeah.
Which has its own EFMP
Yeah, we just
person.
found out
We
a couple
learned.
weeks ago.
I love Savannah. That's a great place to be. So if we can PCS to Savannah, that'd be nice. But I don't get to PCS anymore. I'm going to retire here. Yeah.
I am sad to say that I am going. I know some people have been like, what? I love my job here.
Yeah.
Absolutely love working with the families here.
Well, you guys do a great job. So, I mean,
Thank you.
You keep up with everything. I'm always seeing and hearing about EFMP. Always.
Hopefully
Always.
good stuff.
Exceptional families, members, programs. But we've got the biggest thing that we want to make sure that everyone gets and understands is all the services that you do provide, and the services that you don't provide, you know where to send them.
Absolutely.
So come see you guys. Also, there are two sides of EFMP, aren't there?
There are.
There's the ACS side, and then there's the medical side. And and what you guys can't do, they can. Well, treatment wise and in help wise.
For the most part.
For the most part.
They'll at least know providers or where to go. And if we have a really close relationship with Tammy, and I think we reach out to her almost daily just to keep the communication going. And if we've got questions, we're back and forth to refer families to
In
her.
other words, you have a really great team
Yes.
right here in
Yes.
Fort Polk between ACS and BJAC, or
Yes,
Bain Jones Army Community Hospital.
Yes.
Yes. And what about, well, this is straight up Army, but any active duty can come and get help from you guys, right? Or is it just Army?
No, actually, it's anyone here. And that's something that recently came up.
Even civilians?
No, actually, civilians can get information from us.
Oh, information. That's
While
good.
they may not be enrolled in EFMP, even for our events, it's one of the things, since this community is smaller and does not have a lot of services, if you can get on this installation and you hear about one of our events, we welcome you to attend it, especially if you have a child that has limited opportunities to attend fun things geared for them. If you can get on this installation, you are welcome to attend any of our events.
Well, that is very cool.
And if you need information about services in the area, get our phone number. We'll still give you that information. We may not be able to help you with TRICARE, but we can at least tell you who providers are in the area and refer you somewhere, get you information somehow.
It's always helpful to get some help. And information is knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Yes.
And when your body grows bigger, your mind grows flowers, and it's fun to learn because knowledge is power.
I don't know if my mind grows flowers.
You don't remember that. As your body grows bigger, your mind grows flowers. It's fun to learn because knowledge is power. It's Schoolhouse Rocky, the chip off the block, because your favorite Schoolhouse Rock.
I do remember Schoolhouse Rock, but not that song.
I don't remember that one,
The
but I
theme
remember
song. It
Schoolhouse
opened every one.
Nope.
Now she's going to go back and look it up on
Yeah,
YouTube.
she
It's
is.
like,
But now I'm thinking of Reading Rainbow.
oh, that was Geordie LaForge.
Yeah,
So,
I loved him.
and Space Coaster.
Okay, no. I don't remember that.
Well, I'm okay. There's my ADD just going off track onto old school TV shows and but conjunction junction. What's your function? All right. I'm going too far. I think we're going to have to cut this off right about here. So, thank you guys for coming in, Trisha, Chris, Barrett.
Oh, yay! He remembered.
Trisha Kearns and Chris Barrett. Make sure I get her name right. And if somebody comes over, if somebody hears the show, just come up and ask us, why did he put so much emphasis on your last name? But anyways, thank you for joining us. It was great, and everyone appreciates it. Oh,
Thank you.
something like that. I don't know. There we go. We have a real great audience here. All right. Well, I'm Jeff England, and this has been the Fort Polk Podcast. We'll be listening to you later.